everyone has to absolutely know this must pass. Almost 80% of the state of California polling, multiple polling, 80% consistently want Prop 47 repealed or drastically changed. And this is going to be the proposition that does it. The legislature cannot do it. The governor, even today, said that the legislature could make fixes. That is an absolute dishonest statement, and he knows it's dishonest because Prop 47 was put in place by the voters, and it can only be changed by the voters. So Prop 47 must be fixed by us passing this proposition in November. And here comes the problem. Everyone knows by now, it spent several of the last years informing the general public that Prop 47 has been the downfall of public safety in California. And it started in 2014 when they lied to us in the naming of the proposition and what the proposition was going to do. And they called it the Safe Streets and Safe Schools Initiative. It had absolutely nothing to do with safe streets. It had absolutely nothing to do with safe schools. But if I tell you right now, we need to make schools safe and streets safe, we're all going to agree, yes, you're right. And, oh, here's the proposition. I'm voting for it. That's what happened in 2014. They absolutely lied to us and misled us into passing Prop 47, knowing that voters had to unapprove it in the future. It couldn't be changed. And so fast forward to now, in 2020, we had a ballot on, or we had the similar instance where we had a proposition that was going to make substantial changes to 47, almost repeal 47, and we got it on the ballot. And when it ended up being named and the wording that they put on there, when I saw it, when I got my ballot and I read my ballot, I'm like, well, done. There's no way this thing passes. It should have passed, and it was shot down. I knew it was not going to pass when we got our mail-in ballots and my wife was filling out hers. And she said the name of the ballot or the initiative, and she's like, oh, that's a no. And I'm like, oh my gosh, stop. No, that is a yes. And she's like, well, it says right here it's going to do this. I'm like, I know, but that's not true. And so it was voted down. And so now fast forward to this year, we were successful in getting it on the ballot again. Luckily, we got a good name for it. It's not a deceiving name. It really is. It is concerning what we're talking about. Democratic leadership, including the governor, did not believe we were going to get enough signatures. They didn't think we had the money. They didn't think we had the ability to get it on the ballot because it had just failed. They were wrong. So as we're moving forward, and it became obvious that we were going to pass it, and then we turn in all of these signatures, and it's like, oh my gosh, we've got it. There's no way this is not going to be on the ballot. They had to come up with a plan to somehow get rid of it and somehow make it not pass. The governor, as early as last week or as late as last week, said that Prop 47 does not have to be changed. We don't have to go backward. Well, we don't have to go backward. What we have to do is move forward from this horrible place that we are. And the only way we move forward is by getting rid of some of those provisions in Prop 47. So as we are going into November, the good thing about this year is a substantial portion of our legislators are up for re-election. Combine that with the state of California, the regular people of California. We all go to the grocery store. We all try and go out to dinner. We all try and go to businesses, open our businesses, take our kids to school. And we are being overrun with life in California being extremely violent. Theft is rampant. We're afraid of all of you can't go into a grocery store without being accosted by someone that's homeless. Businesses are being closed because of all the theft. We're in a horrible place in public safety. The legislature knows it. So they came up with a set of bills. I think there's 11 of them and they call it's their package. And mind you, this is all Democrat. They don't want any Republican support. They want to tell California that the Democrats are going to fix the problem. And here's their crime and safety bills. There's a group of about 11 of them. They are extremely weak. They're very watered down, and they have no teeth in them at the end. But they sound good. They really do. And they are at least, you may have to arrest somebody 100 more times, but at least there's a potential of them having a consequence. So they got law enforcement to get behind them. And we endorsed all of those bills. It wasn't ideal, but we knew this was the best we were going to get. So we're like, we'll take anything we can. Mm-hmm. Now we pass the ballot. We're going to be with the initiative. It's approved. It's going to be on the ballot. And now they're panicked because how are they going to get us to not vote for that? So this is what they came up with. They will pass this group of 11 bills, and they will do it in emergency fashion. And what that does is it allows the governor to sign that bill immediately, and the law takes effect immediately upon signing. So we're going to have 11 within the next several weeks. We will have 11 bills that are signed into law, and they go into effect immediately. What that will allow them to do is say, we care so much about public safety. We passed these 11 bills, and we got it put into effect immediately. We're moving forward. Mm-hmm. Now we're coming up on our election in November with the ballot measure for 47. And they have now inserted an amendment into all 11 of those bills that says if this ballot initiative, the Drug, Homelessness, and Theft Reduction Act, if that passes, all of these 11 bills will be automatically repealed. Yeah. What that does is it allows the Attorney General to now go in and write the narrative in our ballot books that when we read it, and if you think about your ballot books, it says a vote for this would do this. A vote against this would do this. So what they're going to do is they're going to say a vote for this proposition would immediately repeal these 11 wonderful bills that we put in place to save California, and that's why you shouldn't vote for this proposition. It is extremely disingenuous. It is extremely unethical, immoral, and wrong. And they are absolutely lying to the people. The governor, Governor Newsom, Attorney General Bonta, the Senate Pro Tem, and the Speaker of the Assembly are absolutely lying to Californians in what they are doing with this, all out of an agenda-driven ideological outlook and push for Californians that is being really orchestrated and enabled by Prop 47. They don't want Prop 47 repealed or changed, and they are going to do everything they can to make sure that we vote the wrong way. What they did in 2014 to trick us into voting for Prop 47, they are going to attempt the same thing in November to trick us into not approving this ballot measure that will fix most of the aspects of Prop 47.
Well, I guess we got lucky that they didn't name it like the Kill Puppies Initiative or something like that. Like it's sort of close. But with everything going on, do you see, I've been seeing Democratic politicians feeling the pressure, and I've been seeing several of them just starting to back away from these bills and saying, oh, I'm taking my name off it. I'm, like you said, to your point, a lot of them are up from re-election. So maybe they're going, this is a hot potato I don't really want. I'm going to step back from it. I don't want to be caught in the whole, like, I'm trying to sabotage this reform on Prop 47. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we lost you for a little bit, but I know where you're going, and you're absolutely right in that we have to make this happen, and we can't fall victim to it again. We have to do everything we can to make sure we get the word out to the people of what they're supposed to vote for, how they should vote, and really how we're going to fix California. And you're exactly right that our legislature, some of them, are even, of those 11 bills, I know that there was at least one that the author pulled his bill rather than insert that language, that poison pill language that would have done that. He was like, there's no way, I'm not doing this. I'm not even going to have that a bill anymore because it's wrong. And some of them are coming out and saying it's wrong. And I can tell you that from my perspective of me being involved in Sacramento for the last several years and being extremely vocal, I am being approached now by Democrats, and they are running their bills by me first, saying, do you have a suggestion? Would you oppose this? Is this a good or bad thing for public safety? Do you have, if we could make you happy with an amendment, would you not oppose it? And last year, the year before, that would have never happened. Never would that have happened. They had complete control, and they were thumbing their noses at us in law enforcement. They didn't ask us about anything. They didn't have to. They have complete control of everything. But now, knowing that the tides are changing and that some of the Democrats, and I want to make this perfectly clear for everybody out there, because I get branded as this right-wing extremist, which really I am not. I'm very moderate. I certainly am a conservative Republican, but I'm certainly not an extremist. I believe we need an equal representative government of Democrats and Republicans. We can't have a one-party rule where you do everything that you want. We've been that way for 30 years, and look at where we are. California has been run by nothing but Democrats for the last 30 years. Education, law and order, laws, our legislature, our cities, everything in California is 100% controlled by Democrats.
Right.
The big problem with that I see, they all don't believe the same thing. There's a big difference between a progressive leftist and a Democrat. And what we are seeing now is the Democrats are pulling back and saying, wait a minute, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that socialism, communism, anti-American thing. Yes, I'm a Democrat, but I can't agree with that anymore. I'm not going along with it anymore just because we go along with party lines no matter what. And we're seeing, by seeing some of these legislatures in the last couple of days speaking out against leadership, saying we can't do that, that's wrong, we're not doing right by the people, pulling their bills, asking law enforcement for their opinion on bills and for our input in helping make a bad bill a good bill. We're seeing that in the last several months because they know that people are tired of it. Californians are tired of it. And the only way we're getting out of this is when the Democrats and the Republicans come together to get rid of the complete whack jobs that are on both ends of the spectrum. The elite left progressives that have 100% control of our state, our governor, our lieutenant governor, our attorney general, our secretary of state, the head of both houses, those people, quite honestly, they've got to go. They are the ones that are threatening people. They are threatening their own party to support the governor's mission with these bills and fighting against, insert the poison pill. We have to defeat this Prop 47 fix, even though they know that Prop 47 has to be fixed. And so those people that are destroying this state we all need to band together, and quite honestly, they got to be voted out. 2 election cycles, we can do it. This election cycle in November, we can get rid of the ones that refuse to go along with the normal Californian, and the next one in 2026, we get rid of the rest of them. And I'm not saying replace Democrats with Republicans. I'm saying replace them with normal people that actually have character, integrity, and honesty, that want to do something right by the people they are representing, not a political, ideological agenda.
All right, so
Very
fast
well said.
forward. Yeah, very well said. Fast forward 3 years. Governor Bianco's being sworn in. I'm not making any suggestions, but we know the rumors. What does public safety in Bianco's California look like? What would be your ideal of what should happen to bring public safety back to California?
Yeah, I know we can do it. I know we have to do it. And I will tell you this. There is a horrible consequence for going too far in one direction. And I got to be honest with you, what happened in our political system, we have gone way too far towards socialism. And my fear is that we are going, because of that pendulum swing, that it's going to go way too far the other way. In 2026, if I was the governor, I would ensure that that pendulum did not go past what was healthy for a strong economy, for a strong California, for a strong public safety. Public safety has been in decline for 30 years. Whether you like the three strikes law or not, it worked. And people were actually, when you see a consequence from someone else, oh my gosh, that their third strike and they really did go away for 25 years, it stopped people. It's like, okay, two is enough. And when you say two, for the normal person, two is two. But in the criminal world, two is like 20. It wasn't their second crime. It was their 100th crime. It was just, this is how they added up to the two bad ones or the three bad ones. So I know we have to dedicate more to public safety. Whether you like it or not, California has experienced a large population growth over the last 40 years, and our prison system has shrunk. Crime hasn't shrunk. Criminals don't shrink. And there's so much, this argument goes back and forth so easy, and there's so many intricacies in it. But everyone wants to compare ourselves, and you play with fear, and you say, you make up words like mass incarceration. There's absolutely no such thing. There is no such thing as mass incarceration. We didn't randomly round up random people and throw them in prisons. We had a major crime problem. We had mass crime, and we held people accountable, so we put them in jail. That's all that was going on. People like to say that the United States of America, the greatest country in the world, in the history of the world, has the most people in prison. Okay, well, who cares? We're also the only free country, real truly free country in the entire world. And when you compare us where there's zero crime in the Middle East, there's no theft in the Middle East. There's tons of crime in California. Do you know why there's no theft in the Middle East? Because you get your hand cut off. There's a serious consequence for bad behavior in different countries. In the United States, when we take away the punishment, I certainly would never advocate for corporal punishment, but when you take away a jail term or a prison term or the loss of freedom as a consequence for your bad behavior, there's no incentive to not do bad behavior. And when you and that's really what we've done. There has to be more prisons. We have to completely get rid of all of the bad things with Prop 47. All of our homeless issues that we have, stop calling them homeless. They're not homeless. They all had homes. They were kicked out of their homes because they're addicted to drugs, alcohol, and they were causing their families problems, and they kicked them out onto the streets. They have a drug-induced psychosis problem that we seriously need to address. If we would force them into alcohol and drug rehabs to where we could then, if they still have that chemical imbalance, then we could moderate that with the use of psychotropic medications and everything else, then we could truly fix these people. But as long as you just keep saying it's a homeless problem and just keep dumping money into these nonprofits that are really just extensions of political people and their friends that are siphoning money laundering tax money into a nonprofit and calling it.
We are right there with you.
I know. Thank you. I'm telling you, in that situation where I'm being sworn in, it's not just public safety. I truly am a believer that we are the greatest country in the world for a reason. And the last several decades, if not many decades, we've been in decline because we have allowed government, particularly California, New York, and now we're seeing our own federal government. We have allowed government to become too big, and they control our lives. Talk about what happened today with the government, with the governor basically imposing himself on a set of judges who were appointed by him or someone like him to just go along with them and say, the we the Californians no longer have control of government. Government's going to tell us how we do things and when we do things, and they're not going to allow us to vote on something. There is something dreadfully wrong in our system when a a part of government has grown so big and so one-sided that we've lost track of what that government is there for. And that government is truly there for people. It's there for us it's to facilitate us making our lives better. And some of that is jails. Some of that is removing the people that harm us, removing the people that steal from our stores, that cause costs to go up and to cause businesses to close. So there's our education system. Our education. If you look at every metric in California, every metric that would say this is the greatest place in the world, we're about last or dead last. And if you look at all the things that, if you want to be the best in the world, these are the things you wouldn't do. We're about number one or number two. And we've completely gone opposite of what we should be doing for our residents, for me and for you, on how we can better our lives and better our families' lives. And the rules, the restrictions, the regulations, and now just the complete government control, the weaponization of government, that is completely at the direction, at the guidance, suggestion of the governor. And we unfortunately haven't had a good one in a long time. We've had a lot of firsts. We haven't had a lot of leaders. And I believe what California is absolutely dying for and in dire need of is an honest person with character, integrity, that isn't going to lie to them, that is really truly there for them, and not a political agenda, not a personal, I want to be president agenda. It's someone that actually cares and has integrity, that when the person talks, they know they can be telling the truth. I mean, there is absolutely no way that anyone in this state can turn on the TV, see Governor Newsom, watch him talk. There is no one that believes anything that's coming out of his mouth. And it's very unfortunate that we've got to that spot. And I think people are dying for someone like them that they can just trust.
Hey, thanks for checking out the California Underground Podcast. If you enjoyed that clip, make sure you subscribe, like, share, review, comment, all that stuff that helps with the algorithm, helps people find us more. And if you want to learn more, you can always listen to our full podcast at Apple, Spotify, Google, all those different places that you basically find podcasts. Or if you just want to keep watching clips, you can check out clips here, or you can subscribe to our channel right here, somewhere in here.